Hey guys, it's Spyros from the Self-Help Photographer. Frank Gonzalez asked me a question. He had a D3200 and he was thinking of upgrading to a D7000. And his question was, is that a good upgrade to make? The D7000 is almost twice the cost of the D3200. Is it worth the money? Now the short answer to that is a resounding yes. Absolutely, positively, that's a good upgrade, a good choice to make. But let me get into it, and also let me get into why I recommend that nobody buy the D3200 or the D5200 Nikon cameras. Now before we go any further, I do want to make this clear. I am not a Nikon hater. Yes, I shoot Canon. No, I don't think Nikon makes terrible cameras. In fact, I think Nikon makes fantastic cameras. But that doesn't mean that every camera that Nikon makes is awesome, just like every camera that Canon makes isn't awesome either. The number one reason I don't think anybody should buy these 3200 and 5200 cameras is that they don't have a focusing motor in them. I talked about this in the buying lenses and buying cameras video, but I really want to reiterate this. This thing is, in my opinion, one of the crappy things that Nikon does. The D3200 and D5200 cameras do not have a focusing motor. And that means when you want to go and you want to buy a lens, the lens you buy has to have a focusing motor. Otherwise, you're going to be manually focusing. So, how much is the cost difference between a lens with a focusing motor in it and a lens without a focusing motor in it? The lens we're going to compare is one of the most popular telephoto zoom lenses that people use out there, which is the 70 to 200 millimeter f2.8 lens. Now, with Nikon, there's not an exact match depending upon the lens you're looking at. So the first lens we're going to look at is the 80 millimeter to 200 millimeter f2.8 AF lens. This lens does not have a focusing motor, meaning that the camera that you use needs to have a focusing motor in order for it to focus automatically. And the 80 to 200 millimeter f2.8 Nikon AF lens at Adorama.com is $1,079 for an f2.8 80 to 200 millimeter zoom. That is an awesome price. But if you have a D3200, you're out of luck. You can't use this lens unless you want to manually focus it. So if you've got a D3200 or a D5200 and you want to get an equivalent lens, the only choice you have in order to get an autofocus from Nikon is the 70 to 200 f2.8 vibration reduction AF-S lens. This lens comes in at $2,396. That's $1,200 more. Now, let's look at the price difference between a D3200 and a D7000. A D3200 comes in at $569. And a D7000 comes in at $896. So you're paying roughly $300 more. But for that extra $300, for a D7000, here's what you get. Most importantly, in the D7000, you have a focusing motor. Just the fact that you have a focus motor means that you can upgrade into lenses that aren't going to cost you an arm and a leg. However, you also get more focus points, 39 autofocus points versus 11 in the 3200. You get 100% coverage in the viewfinder of the camera. It's also a bigger viewfinder. It has a faster frame rate. It has the built-in flash control, meaning if you buy a Nikon compatible flash, you get wireless built-in, which the 3200 does not have. You get second curtain sync, which is another flash feature, and all sorts of other stuff. That, in a nutshell, is why the 7000 is a much, much better camera and absolutely worth the investment to upgrade versus a D3200. Okay, if you have a question, email me at spyros@selfhelpphotographer.com or head over to the Facebook page, facebook.com/theselfhelpphotographer, and put your question there. Have a good day, get out there and take some damn photos.